Welcome to the Holistic-Yogi podcast. I am your host, Kamala Ingrid, and today's episode is about my 21-day reset, along with two beautiful guests. One of them is my sister, which I have her right now. Her name is Grace Martinez, and I want to introduce two courses that are in my 21-day program, which is the 21 Mind, Body, and Spirit Reset, and also the 10-day belly flow, which is included in that 21-day reset. So let's begin, and I want to introduce my sister, let her introduce herself and what this course has done for her. So go ahead.
Well, thank you. My name is Grace Martinez, as you mentioned. I live in New York. I am a mother of one boy, 5-year-old. His name is Aiden. I am a very busy, as my son would say, business lady. I work managing a sales territory for the Northeast with another partner of mine within the company. And there's a lot of travel that's involved. So obviously over the last few years, I've been doing this for roughly 16 years. There was a lot more travel when I was a little bit younger, but now that I'm in my 40s, obviously some of that travel has had to scale back just a tiny bit, simply just to be around for my son. Unfortunately, though, it's taken a toll on my body. So the stressors that I've, have had to endure, either from travel, either from work stress, from, late stage motherhood. I mean, I really kind of started all of that pretty late in my 30s. It just kind of took a toll. I ended up getting Graves' disease roughly almost actually 10 years ago now. And I don't think that I fully understood the impact that was going to have on my body. I had been a triathlete. Prior to that, I had been a competing swimming and water polo player. So I'd always been athletic in my life, and then and managed to incorporate that even in my day-to-day when I was still working well into my 30s up until I had my son. But I did not realize that in the probably around the time I turned about 35 on is when I really started to feel the weight of the stress and the bloating that I started to have, and the weight gain, the unusual weight gain that I would get from time to time.
And you noticed that even though you worked out, the times you did, it didn't do any difference, right?
It didn't do anything. I mean, it got to the point where it didn't matter how much I was working out. And I understood that the traveling can add an element of, just bad eating habits. You're on the road, you're at the airport. It was not unusual for me to sit at a bar in an airport and have a couple drinks before I hopped on a plane after a really long day. I was like, well, I'm not driving, Well,
you're just about what, like I would say 90% of the people that are in your type of world working day 9 to 5, and sometimes even more because you're traveling.
Way more than that, because there's traveling involved. It was not unusual, and it still isn't to this day, where I might put in a week where 2 or 3 days out of that week, that Monday to Friday week, I'm putting in anywhere from an average of 12 to 14 hours of just steady work and travel. So it certainly did impact me. And you have always been, as my older sister, I've watched you for since as far as I can remember, always taking on this interest and this desire to want not only to help people around you, but you incorporated a lot of your own experiences into what you've done.
Yeah.
And it's been inspiring to see, but as a family member, I think it doesn't, even though it didn't fall on deaf ears on me every time you would tell me, like, try this, try that. At the same time, you're a family. So you almost don't listen to your family in the same way that sometimes you just either listen to yourself. You're like, well, they can't understand what I'm going through. Right. Like, and the thing is that push comes to shove. You start to notice that, okay, here you are reaching another decade in your life.
In a few weeks.
Yeah. And I am amazed at how you look, right? Like, I'm like, okay, there's something to show here. Like, I really need to be paying attention. Like, what is she doing that, that is actually helping you stay as youthful and as, fit as you have? Now, I've always known we come from a family that is always put fitness at the forefront. We've always relatively eaten well, maybe not always when we were younger, but as we got older,
Yes.
as we got older and as, financial situations somewhat improved, food was definitely something that we improved upon. But I, having that travel aspect to my life really just kind of fell into, I think, the norm where you just go, oh, all right, I'm just gonna get a fast food joint here because it's just gonna fill me in between. And I would eat those things and I'd have these unbelievable crashes in the afternoon, or this like insane just tiredness that would overcome me. And it I never put two and two together that, yes, truly, like you already know, right? You already grow up knowing that you are what you eat. You hear this constantly, all the time, but you don't really break it down. You go, well, what am I eating, right? Like the starchiness or the high sugars or the sodium, that you get just because things have to be preserved a certain way. So I have fallen into that, or had fallen into that quite a bit. I decided that when you came out with this 21-day reset, it was something that I really should look into, partly because it was 21 days. You also had a program that you said you had been working on that you just launched, which is a 10-day. And for me, that's very attractive because it just means that, okay, wait a minute, I can essentially try to trigger changes in 21 days that are crucial to just my everyday living. Well, yeah, that sounds like something I could really kind of wrap my head around. And the same thing with the 10-day belly bloat. It's like, well, yeah, I'm constantly bloated, right? Like I constantly feel like I can't get ahead of myself. And I don't always have time to exercise, which is terrible, but I don't. So I'm like, if at the very least I could change or be conscious about what I'm putting into my body and eating, then maybe that's something that's a place where I can start. And it might motivate me to try to find some time here and there. So I decided to take you on this challenge, and it's been great. Now, granted, I'm in the middle of a brand new job, so I'm looking at
so let's let the audience know, because you came to me before this even started, like before I even introduced 21 Day to you. You started, you basically called me and said, you know what?
Yeah.
And we let everyone know we don't even live near. We live very far from each other, and it's been like that for some time. So it's like, but you've experienced my classes in the past. You've experienced my programs in the past that you've always felt it effective. I remember one of the things you told me when you joined my yoga classes online in early part of the year was because you said to me and have stated with me is that I can't find someone like you.
Yeah, I can't.
And if anything, I'd rather be with you to get me back to that place. So we started a program in the morning before Aiden would wake up. Even though
before my son would wake up, we did, right? So we do it twice, 2 to 3 times a week. We were getting up right. We started this in December of last year. So COVID obviously created a lot of, upheaval for many people, just from schedules to everything else. My son likes to get up when he hears me, but you and I worked out a program where I would get up before Aiden would be up, and it would be 50 minutes of just yoga. And what I really enjoyed was that you were so attentive and detailed in terms of focusing on problem areas in my body before we even started these workouts. And the active release therapy balls were amazing, right? Like I
didn't realize you held that much tension in certain areas, right?
Exactly. And I couldn't believe how deep I was getting into some of my poses just from the sheer notion of utilizing those balls first thing in the morning, right? Like even before, I would sometimes get up earlier than our sessions, just to stretch for an extra 5-10 minutes. And it was amazing to do that. You know, it was definitely eye-opening for me, because I've tried a million yoga places out here. And they've, you know, not to knock them, there have been some really great teachers, but I feel like there is this sort of like generalized version that you get in these classes, right? And they're not really focused towards the individual. And either they're too fast paced, and I was like, I can't do that quite yet. Whereas with yours, and even the videos that you sometimes would allow for me to look at from, because I had joined your programs, it was great for me to pop them on whenever I had like 10-15 minutes, and I would just try a pose. And if it meant that I stayed in that pose for, 5 minutes, just trying it, just loosening whatever I needed to loosen to try it, I would do that. And I found, oh my gosh, it was like eye-opening. I was like, I'm actually feeling better. Like my pain is going away. I do suffer from back pain. I think it's probably from driving spending a lot of time in my car, and I'm driving. I do get that lower back pain that tends to be invasive at times.
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling that anymore. We also use the foam roller, the stretching of my feet, my legs, my hips. Those are problem areas for me, my lower back. And that started to wane. That started to go away.
Right.
And then again, the 21-day reset came up
that was like in perfect timing, because I had this app, and I think I introduced it to you when I said, okay, this is going up. I want to test it because I want to make sure before I go live that it's all working and everything is, because I'm not that savvy tech. So yeah. I've been learning a lot of that stuff, and I didn't want to create a mistake or anything, so you can help me correct it, but yet follow the program. So far, so good. Right now, I'm still with Apple, fixing little things in there. They're very meticulous with everything that's going on with it. So it's ready any soon. I'm praying. Oh, we got Desiree joining in. Give me 1 second.
Okay, sure.
And there she is. And so, as she will get on in a second. And Desiree, you're on. We're just waiting for your face to come on. So the 21-day reset was something that I loved about it, because it was something that I've been working on for so long, and I've used it over time. And the active release therapy was something that I basically threw into it and took my Ayurvedic out. Hello, Desiree. Thank you for joining us. Another lion, another Leo, a Gemini, and 2 Leos.
There we go.
That's a power trio.
Absolutely.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hey,
Good
honey,
morning.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Des?
I'm loving the hair.
Oh yeah.
You look awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You do too, girl. You got your lion hair going on.
Yeah.
Your golden
Leo season. Leo season.
Yeah.
I'm due soon. So I was telling her, I'll introduce you in a second, Mama. But like I was saying, with the 21-day reset, what we do in this scenario is that it is a combination of body release with the active release therapy. You've got your journals, which allows you to put what you want to, your intentions on paper, whether it's for the day or for the week, and you maintain it on a week to week so you don't fall out of that routine. It's also fast track with your 21-day reset book, as well as your 10-day belly flow, because the 10-day can be prolonged for a week instead of three at a time for each phase. So you can do it for a full week and include it for this one and get your real true results. I also love, and so it basically takes you from getting so clouded in your mind and allows you to really reset your mind, so that way you are now fast tracking into taking care and seeing the results physically, mentally, and emotionally in all areas of your life. Because as you improve in this part, you find yourself, everything else starts falling in place. And that's what I loved about my 21-day reset. And I have loved, you guys are like basically on week 3 now. And I know that you guys are busy moms, and you're a busy lady too. You're not a mom, but you're a busy lady, with two, parents that you've got now have to take care of, and you're away from home, basically doing this and working, which makes you basically the type of people I'm looking for, busy women. And weight is an issue because as we get older, we're not young. Our bodies don't lose the weight as fast, especially my sister, Grace, who has been very active all her life. And then all of a sudden, once you have your babies, and again, you end up having the thyroid, hormones create a very complex, and they can create havoc, causing us to basically not retain water, retain weight. And no matter how much you push, it doesn't matter. And I'm getting close to my 50s. So, I've had my moments where I fall off the wagon. I'm human. And I go into my, mode. And then I'm like, oh, Jesus, this belly. What the heck? I can't seem to lose it no matter how many runs I go out, or how many jumping jacks I do, or how much yoga I do. My body's not the same. So one of the things for me, and I know my sister would both have that, where we stresses can cause us to basically hold us back from getting the where we want to be. So I decided to put this all together and have it tested because it's worked for me. Now my question is, does it work for you guys, for everybody else?
Right.
So far, I've got two different type of women and two different elements of what you would do, but in the end, it's all the same. It goes over, working overtime, busy, don't have time for a lot of things, and you try to give that time for yourself, but in overall, it's like it doesn't always work. So here, having this 21-day reset, it has been successful so far. You guys have seen results in yourselves. Even if you don't get the workout or you don't get this, you find that the food intake is helping, correct?
Yes. Yep.
That's wonderful. All right, Grace. Let's introduce Desiree really quickly. Let us know where you're at and how, what type of job you do, and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am Desiree. I'm a nurse that works in a sedentary position at this point, remote, like a lot of individuals transition during our infamous 2020. But I had already been remote prior to that. I wanted to be able to be anywhere after all the other nursing opportunities that I've had. And so it's glamorous to be able to say that you work, on a laptop, but wow, it can really put havoc on your system. I did not realize the intensity of the impact of sitting on the body. And so how interesting timing is that I had this amazing opportunity to participate with you, Kamala, on this program, while I'm knee deep in a sedentary role and in a caretaker role that was kind of thrown in as a result of aging parents that had issues arise. And so, yeah, it's a lot. And
I know.
What was wonderful was that this is one of the programs that, as chaotic as the schedule is, and the inability to be able to do it the way I would do it if I were in my own setting, it's still not, it's not impactful, like makes you crazy, like, oh God, I didn't do this program. Some programs will take 30 minutes, 45 minutes out of your day, and this doesn't do that. This gives you insightful, bold tips. The workouts are not 45 minutes that you're sitting there panting and you're really only going through the motion because you want to be able to check off that you did it.
Right.
Mhm.
These are they're mini lessons on here's how you do X, Y, and Z. And before you even get to the place where you're doing the exercise, there's all this other prep work. So you're doing mindset,
Right.
you're doing a check-in, you're getting the opportunity to journal if you like to write. So this is like a program for people who are visual, learners, auditory learners, people who have to write learners, or whatever fits your day. So if it's 9:30 at night and it's the first time I'm actually getting Desiree time, that's the time when I could sit down and just even focus on what was today. Had I been able to do this at 6 a.m, it's still an opportunity to check in, and I'm done by 9:45.
Right. That's awesome.
And so that's where it's a beautiful opportunity. So yeah, like some of the programs I won't mention are hard.
Yeah.
Not in the physical sense.
Easy enough to where it feels like you can flow with it, and at the same time know that you can, because it's with you for life, you can use it anytime and you can use it all the time. It doesn't have to be 21. This is more for just setting routine for those that need to break that routine, but it's something you can constantly go back to again. And that goes the same with the food, And it's
not to underestimate that, to share that, there's a 9-minute or a 15-minute or a 13-minute video. By all means, don't think that this is a video that you're going to be like, boom, 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 done.
Oh yeah.
It's a demonstration. And I'm going to say, like, I wrote down some exercises where I'm like, oh, ow.
Yeah. Grace had that in the last time we spoke. She said that by, was it day 3 or 4, you were feeling pain?
Oh yeah. I was definitely feeling it. Yeah. And that was just the stretching part, and I mean, to your comment before, Ingrid, and even Desiree's touched on it too. You said, like, sometimes you get so busy that you have these, like Desiree said, you have these pointers, and it kind of like, lets you know it's a guideline, right? Of things to kind of keep in mind every day to day. And Ingrid, you touched on the fact that it's like, even if you get too busy, like if you can't get an exercise in this is what my life has been the last month. I just started a new job that I knew it was going to be a lot of work. I've never been afraid of work.
Right.
But I don't think I was prepared for the amount of work. Doesn't even do it justice.
Responsibility, I think you have.
It is
insane
amount of research and brand building that I'm having to do and hitting the road. So I did not anticipate that when I started this program. What I did, and I had been very frank about this, even though we're entering that 3-week, technically that 3-week, I'm still functioning within the 1st to 2-week time frame. And the reason for that was because of all the time that my job and my life has taken up. However, I'm still seeing results, because what happened for me was that I have made this program is the first time that I've ever done anything that has actually triggered my mind to be completely conscious of what I'm doing day in and day out, so that I have actually changed my decision making when it comes to food.
Yeah.
And that is huge. On food alone, just on food alone, I've lost 1.5 inches from my waist, just on food, just on paying attention. And that's with, I'll be honest, like you said, you fall off the wagon. I've cheated a few times. Like, I'm not going to lie. I've cheated.
Okay. To listen, one thing I'm going to tell you and everybody that's going to be listening to this video is that when you cheat, it doesn't go, your body's allowed to cheat. I have my cheat days once a week, and it's okay, because it's not going to throw it out of cycle. What throws it out of cycle is if you let this go and say you're not going to do it for another 6 months, then guess what? And you continue cheating every day. Well, the body's going to get to a point where that's where people retain their weight or gain that weight double.
Right.
You could cheat once or twice out of the week, but as long as you know it's in moderation, small doses, and then you go the next day, I'm going to be good.
Right. And that's what I've been doing. So I've maintained the broth. I've maintained,
I love the broth.
Like, it's like, I love that thing. So like, I've maintained that. I'll be making, probably I'm moving on to the second phase this week, but like I've been maintaining that broth. I am conscious about what I'm eating. I've minimized basically my intake even, and I'm, I am not like, I'm a meat eater, right? I love my chicken and I love my meats, but yeah,
I
meat
could
and
go way back
potatoes.
with you and you would be like, you ain't taking my meat away. You would just
No,
was like,
and
this is my stuff. You can say vegan all you want. I'm not doing this.
I don't know that I can completely say no to it, but let me tell you something. Going from, I was probably eating steaks 2 to 3 times a week
Wow.
to once every 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
If even that, I don't think I've even touched it. So it's been, 3 weeks of just cutting out sugars, of incorporating more vegetables and like brown rice, that type of food.
Oh, can you share what you felt and what you told me about the first time you started the 10-day belly blow? Because what we're talking about is mainly the belly blow now. That's part of that is given in the 21 day for you guys. What happened with you and what was the experience you felt with the 10-day belly blow in that process? What was your body? Because you obviously realized your body was acidic.
Oh yeah. So I started to feel pain.
Well, you were having pain already, correct?
I was having pain already, but I was having pain underneath my right rib cage. And I had been feeling it for, I don't know, sometime in the spring it would pop up and it'd be very painful. And then I'd get itchy, really itchy. I'd get like a rash right underneath my, right in that spot, like underneath my rib cage on my right side. And sometimes on my left side, and I chalked it up to stress. I would feel it on my left side, under my rib cage, on my right side, but mainly on my right. And the bloating was insane. I mean, I was like bloated, and pain. And I was still regular. We can talk about that, right? Like my bowel movements were still regular.
Absolutely.
Everything was fine. But I did notice that I was struggling prior to starting the 10-day. I was struggling with being able to actually go to the bathroom successfully. So my bowel movements had shifted from regular bowel movements to interrupted bowel movements, if that makes any sense. Like I just could not seem to get any relief. Like I felt like I needed to go again, like every like 2 hours or whatever. I'm like, what is going on with me? Then I started the broth with the 10-day, and the pain got worse. Right. And I'm going, is it the food? Like, no, what's going on? And then I had strange bowel movements. I start getting on the computer and I'm going, I think I'm gonna have to go see a doctor. And I come to realize, and the nurse over here might probably already figure out what I might have been dealing with. But I think I was passing gallstones. I think I had been dealing with gallbladder issues. I don't think I realized it. I've maintained that broth and I have been essentially cleansing myself. The pain has gone away and the itch hasn't come back. So I think that's another reason why I decided that I really needed to focus on things, because I'm realizing that I might have been creating a bigger issue in my body. And this, as surprising as it was, the opportunity was amazing. Like Desiree said, I had the opportunity to come into this program. I think it just brought that to light for me. And I didn't know about it, so I think I could have avoided, in all honesty, I'm pretty confident that's what I'm passing. But I am pretty confident that I avoided potential surgery down the road. And I am so grateful. I can't believe it. Like I'm more hooked on this now because I'm realizing how acidic I've been and how my eating habits have really just triggered incredible changes. Even my skin's improving, which I had not.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
my skin is improving.
Yeah, and I know
you look beautiful.
You look beautiful. It really is showing. And I know that Mom and Dad got the chance to see you when you came down to Florida for your meeting. Mom went and she says, "Oh my God!" She, when I called her just to check on her and see how's, her beloved Bill was doing, and she tells me, "I I saw Grace just for a little bit, but oh my God, what the heck? And I gave them this.
I know, I told them.
This, but they didn't, they tend to put it like family.
Like family, you never listen to your family. Desiree, I
whatever.
was telling her before you came on, I was like, I've been watching my sister doing this for 20 years, right, Desi? And I'm like, 20 plus years, however. And she'd always tell me, like, do this and do this and do that, and you just don't listen to your family, right? You're always like,
no,
what do
and
they
then
know?
what is dad's response? Yeah, I know better than you. I know more.
Yeah, I know better than you.
He never listens. And, and I'm like, okay, until like he had his issue when he first went and they removed 2 feet of his intestines. Then he went to the vegetarian diet. And then he goes on and off, on and off. This is another milestone where I said, take this. I sent it to him. I told his mom was going through her stressors and she has the same kind of thing that, going to the bathroom isn't that easy, Okay, so I said, take it, tell dad to print it out and follow it. We'll just put it on the side. They saw her and she goes, oh, what the heck? My sister had gained some weight. So, like I said, for her body type, we're 2 different types of bodies. She has more that thinner, taller, athletic kind of body, and I'm more of a, fuller, athletic kind of body. So there's 2 different types of body, but she gained the weight.
And I carry it differently.
I carry it
really
carries it very differently because of her body style. So she carries it and holds it in here. For me, when I have gotten in those modes, it's been usually when there's a lot of stress. Like I told you not too long, right before the app was getting developed, I went through a moment of like chaos because I'm like, it's like from morning to night, trying to write, that, and not moving from the table hardly except for to eat, to go to the bathroom and come back. And that's how I was. And I was like, oh my God, I got to the point where I was like, I stressed myself out and completely ruined me. I was even hardly drinking water, so it's like, and that also you hold weight when it does that. And I know all this stuff, but like I said, we're normally human. We go through these stages. So getting back on track, I said, you know what, let's start again. Let's do a whole detox. I had my partner Miguel join me and he was in it. I go, let's just do for these 10 days, just go on this detox. You in with me? He's like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And we did. And honestly, within 3 days, I just saw a lot of that shedding go down, weight go down. And I was like, okay, I feel better, back to my normal routine. Being able to sleep is key too, of stress. So without that, a lot of times I would go to sleep, be in my mind, and go right back again, wake up at 3 o'clock, be in my mind. And that wasn't really sleeping. I wasn't resting. So, you realize that you not only do you throw yourself out emotionally, physically, but you do it with food. And then you start craving more stuff. Addicted to, either salt or sugars, addicted to, you get to the point you want more carbs, you want this. And it's just a habit. It's not because you're hungry, but sometimes it's just to eat. That's big on our family. We get that from our dad, and we like to just eat. And do you realize that by being in this program, the cravings have stopped?
They have stopped. Yes. My cravings have stopped.
You don't want to, and do you realize you don't also find yourself wanting to eat certain things that you ate before? I used to eat a lot of chips.
I just don't feel like I need it. And
you go through the aisles. I used to be like, if I didn't buy Nutella, I knew that I wouldn't be touching it, because if I bought it, I knew I would touch it just because I like chocolate. Sounds like Aiden, right?
Right.
But I can see it in the aisle, but I'm like, it doesn't bother me. I can let it sit there. There's a lot of things I have that I've gotten rid of also, that I used to say, okay, now you look at my pantry is flour of all kinds, almond, coconut, everything to make from grounds. Back in the day, I used to have more canned stuff, because it's the quickest thing to do. But a lot of that stuff has a lot of sodium, because of the preservatives. That's not good for you. So I buy everything from scratch. Thankfully, I got my daughter. And my sister knows she's completely vegan, and she does everything from scratch. Mm-hmm. So the healthy eating at home has helped her to basically incorporate this lifestyle
That's a
and
lifestyle. Yeah.
continue. Now,
Right.
with the broth, one of the things I said to you, because you guys got a lot of information, correct?
A lot of it.
However, I said, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. Go to the broth, start with that, and take anything you want from each phase. Take anything you need from there, but definitely maintain the broth,
Right.
because the broth is key. I've lost weight with just the broth. How much have you lost, Grace?
So like you said, our bodies work different. I'm already pretty thin, visibly thin. So but I I distribute my weight differently.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I don't really lose weight. My weight just distributes to.
Well, because now you're moving, your metabolism
Really?
is starting to burn everything. So your body's now distributing the weight and sending it to other places that need to move. Otherwise, it stays stored in that one area.
It's shifting. So that's
shifting.
excellent. That's still a response. Absolutely.
So
My
what
weight
about
is
you?
what's just on the broth and.
Yeah.
Just on
You
the
hear me?
broth. I know, it's so beautiful.
Sorry, we froze.
Yeah, I saw
Lost
that.
you guys. Yeah, just on the broth. Sorry, I meant to. I don't know if you guys heard me, but it was 1.5 inches.
Ah.
And then actually, I did lose about 4 pounds. Sorry, I did lose pounds. Yeah.
You do lose it. You do lose it. I know I'm hitting in my 50s. I just, like I was saying earlier when before Desiree jumped on in a few weeks. And I did my hormonal test recently because I thought I was going to get my premenopausal state. Lady goes, I have news for you. You're not even close. So stay on birth controls or do something that has, because you still can get pregnant. And I'm thinking, I don't know what you're doing, but you look great. You don't have to worry about it. And I'm like, okay. Again, I'm just going based on age and also because our mother basically, I think how she was in her 50s, right? When she started her menopausal stage.
Yeah, mid 50s. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and early. She said 50 to me. So I was like, so I thought, and they said to me, no. And I did get my menstrual cycle at 9. So I really got very young. So I was assuming I would get it.
Oh, wow. I was the same way. Yeah, I got it at 9. Yes.
And
Really?
that's
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a
It's
myth.
early.
So in the end, it comes down to, and I'm a testament, it comes to your lifestyle, your eating habits, your mindset. You keep this healthy lifestyle, you find yourself, shedding weight. It's like the fountain of youth, basically.
Right.
And we both come from also parents that are very conscious of what they eat, most of the time, and they juice a lot in the mornings. I say our dad and mom do not share the age that they are in. They look.
Yeah, they don't look
10 years younger.
I'll tell you, after they saw me, I think they were convinced to do your broth. That's for sure.
It. They called
Yeah.
me. They're like, my dad's like, hey, does it have to? I said, you can modify everything as long as you get the actual. It doesn't have to. If you can't find it, you can modify with that. Like Grace said, Grace can't always eat melons and certain things. So you modify with what you can, because she has a little reaction to, I think, avocados too, right?
Avocados and pretty much any melon. Yeah.
And any melon. So I said, yeah, take it, opt it out, because it's in some of the waters that we have. That's infusions.
What about Desiree? Desiree, I'm curious. Have you seen any changes?
Oh yeah.
I know
So
your
the magic-
skin looks great.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I love the broth. The broth is definitely a changer. Every time I hear you say the word broth, it's like, I don't know, magic. When I made the first batch of broth, my family, the smell of that broth had my family here. They were like, what is that? And I thought, oh God, I'm gonna have to make another pot because they're gonna eat it all. But it turned out that I think they associated it mentally with some sort of a quote unquote diet. So that they didn't touch it, which was better for me.
More for you.
More for me. But my physical self has always been a yo-yo. And I'll share, because I think it's imperative that if we do a mirror work, and anyone who's going to be listening to this, I had an era of my age where I was just heavy, and my system can hold weight like a person holding gold at a gold mine. It's like, it just doesn't want to release it. And what happened was that when I was in high school, I went through this little teenage anorexic fit. So I ruined my metabolism early on. So I shifted. It was just very hard for my body to lose weight. Wow. The mindset for anybody listening to this who may not be diagnosed or whatever the case may be, and you'd never look at me now saying she had a problem, an eating disorder when she was a teenager. Well, I won't say what age I am, but I'm 29 plus a little more. And Gloria Vanderbilt genes came out. Gloria Vanderbilt genes came out. And that was the rage, you know, right. And so was those other Jordache genes. So there you have it. Now you know. But they didn't make them for my body type. First of all, I'm Latina, so I have the hips, and I'm high-waisted, I'm tall, and I'm medium frame, but I can bulk. And that wasn't made for that. So what I'm sharing is for anybody who's listening to this, you know, we can't just pop on to a 21-day, a 10-day, a 5-day, a 2-day and think I'm going to wake up and be able to fit into that gene. Or no, it's not. It's definitely a process. So just understand that. But wow, if we fast forward, like Grace shared, I was a rare meat eater, carnivore. I ate meat like she did. So I want to congratulate you on getting that underway, because I am the one who ended up emergency gallbladder removal surgery. It's a thing.
Wow.
It's real.
God. Wow.
So
it is real.
It's a real thing. It's a real, and it's not pretty. It's this, you think you're having a heart attack. Wow. So not to veer off it, but I really want to share that I think that things unfold on purpose the way they should, so that anyone listening to this in the future, we're going to have individuals that are, yes, they're carnivores. They think they look at this broth and they're going to be like, well, where's the ribs? Where's the meat? Where's the chicken? I gave up meat about 8 years ago. Maybe it's even more now. I don't even remember. I was sick. I didn't feel good eating it. So I'm not a diehard vegan. Like, I'm not doing the whole, I'm not knocking it either. What I'm sharing is
that's normal.
My body was not a body that, you know, I'm not wearing leather shoes on purpose. That I don't want to take away from, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to share that in our lives, we have different phases, and our bodies will tell us whether it's mild signs, whether it's screaming at us, until it implodes, until something happens where you're like, okay, you're not listening. I give up. I can't do it anymore. Right. Our liver is detoxifying. Our gallbladder is what's helping us process fats. So I lost my gallbladder a few years ago. I'm going to say over in 1999, maybe 2000. Wow. So what does that mean? Now I have a body that's challenged in losing weight because I messed up my metabolism. 1, 2. Now I lost my gallbladder. So how do I metabolize fats? If you eat a steak, biologically, it takes 12 days for you to digest that steak. That steak's with you. That filet mignon that you had on Saturday night, you carry that for the rest of the week. So while we're carrying that for the rest of the week, you have this broth. I lost 4 pounds. This body, who is 29.6 divided by 2, carry the 4, square root it.
Oh God, girl. I
lost 4 pounds this week on the second round of that broth.
Yeah.
Because
I
got on the scale and I'm like, and I hadn't been losing anything because I'm in such a tense situation. My anxiety is super high,
right,
with all the things that I'm extended to involve in my personal life. So, you know, again, sedentary, not being able to follow a routine in my own space the way I would want to. That 4 could have been easily 8, and no lie, being my age, being able to lose 4 pounds in 1 week, sedentary, stressed, cortisol must be shooting, interrupted sleep, all those things.
And you
4
still
pounds in a week.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
So, wow.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
Yay.
My skin did clear.
Yes, it has cleared.
I could see it. Yeah.
I can see it on both of you. And I know you guys very well for so long. That's what I grew up with all the time. So I could see it. You guys glow. And that's, you know, everybody's asked What's your secret? What do I do? I mean, if you go
And
to
I don't drain it. I just want to share. I don't drain the broth. I don't drain the broth. I eat
don't
that whole
either.
thing.
Yeah, I've been eating
I
it.
eat it all. Anything that's in that soup, I'm eating it. I was gonna blenderize it, but no, I said, let me eat the whole thing. So I have still more broth. I'm gonna continue that because it's delicious. It's summer.
Well,
and
the reason
I'm
I
eating
say
soup.
I'm glad you guys are doing it that way, because there are people, I like did it recently for a friend of ours, that he came here and he was like, you know, he had that belly that sticks out, and he's in his mid-50s, I want to say. Sweet guy, you know, and he's cut down a lot of stuff, you know, that I've mentioned for him to cut down. Finally, he goes, I'm going to try it. So he buys everything, and I started cooking for him. So we put it in mason jars, but he's not a veggie person. So when you've got, like you said earlier, all types of people, you have the option to I take a certain section of it because, you know, my guy goes, no, you're not throwing that out. I said, okay. I take whatever I can into a pot, you know, a thing, because I don't have the biggest refrigerator. So unfortunately, you know, I can only fit so much, and we pack that refrigerator half the time. So I was like, okay, I'll take this and I'll put whatever's remaining, the rest of it, I'll put it in jars. And then I do drain it because it's the only way I have room in that space. So, but for most people that don't, by all means, eat it, you know, have it. I think it's more, you know, homey, and it brings you back to home when you have it that way.
It is so nurturing. And I want to share. People are like, you're having soup in July? Yeah, I'm having soup in July. There's an Ayurvedic Vedic approach for, you know, why would you eat hot and heat? But I love it. And
well, you don't
and
have
hydration.
To have it. Some people can do it cold. You have that, you know, like I said, some people, I just grew up.
I eat it cold.
I love it hot.
See?
I've been
like
eating it
hot.
cold. Yeah,
that's
I've
fine.
been eating it cold, so yeah.
And I have it for breakfast. I like it first thing in the morning. So I
Me
take
too.
It, like, instead of tea, I take that. I'll take that first, and then I'll go for a run, and it sets my body up immediately. You know, it just like
I love it.
Resets me. So, and then when I get back, once I'm done with either my workout or whatever it is that I'm doing, then I have a small meal, and then I'll go ahead and, you know, along with my water.
And the water, I do want to say that because I never liked water. So I want to add to that. The broth, hydration. Your mud water. Your mud water.
I don't do coffee.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I'm a coffee thing. I'm trying to work my way that small steps. Yeah. But the hydration protocol too was very important. So I did that too, because I was not a person who liked water. I would do anything so then prior to this program, I'm going to say in 2019, I'm like, I was already shifting. And I'm like, okay, good. So I started to not only appreciate water, but I could drink it warm now. And that's, if anybody knows me, my mother said that as a baby, a bottle of water, she was like, I would be like, so I just did not like water. And now with the berries, with the fresh mint, we just have a restock. I'm going to do the whole raspberry, blackberry, you know, blueberry. Unfortunately, I'm in New York now, and the berries are like, you know, $47 for two. But
oh my gosh,
it's still, it's so delicious, and not for nothing. But I mean, yes, you may need to. Your body's going to be evacuating so much. So as far as hygiene and
hydration is key.
We have to get rid of it. Yes.
Yeah, just to release the belly bloat. You also want to be able to, you know, this also helps with leaky gut, which I remember Grace and I had a conversation many years ago about that. She's like, I think I have leaky gut syndrome. All this is, you know, protocol to helping that and resetting the whole system back again.
The whole system. It's a whole gut health. I mean, it's the prebiotic, the probiotic, the food, the decrease in toxins. I'm not nibbling. I was stressed nibbling here and crunching. I'm a person that I also had a hysterectomy. I want to add that. And I add that because, again, there's going to be women that are going to be watching this. Well, that's not going to work for me. You know, I had a hysterectomy. My hormones are really off. No, I'm here to tell you. I'm minus a gallbladder. I'm minus a uterus. I still have the knobs. I still have my ovaries. But
did you say knobs?
The knobs. I don't have the oven. I don't have the oven, but I still have the knobs.
He has the knobs. Hysterical.
And so I mean, I really, really want to I'm not putting my personal stuff out there for anything other than to share. You know, we come in all different experiences, and
Yes, we do.
it's still a productive. If anything, your body's getting a cleanse. You know, am I going to jump into a 2-piece bikini? Well, yeah, if I don't worry about what I look like in it, but I can do it. You can do this over and over again. Like, I love that broth. I'm going to eat it because I like soup. I love melon. We had different challenges, and we can both still sit here and and this is just 21 days. It's not even like if we did this 6 months from now. I mean,
the thing is that the beauty about these broths, there's 3 variations. One to go into the detox, the other one's going to basically get you into what we call the fat phase, you know, reducing and helping the liver, you know, process it better, work better. Then you go into the third one, which has a lot to do with hormones, the adrenal glands and all that stuff, which will be key for Grace because Grace has the thyroid. So this is going to help her as she goes into the detox and the fat burner phase, and then into the other one, she's going to see the difference. And you have noticed the difference in the types of ingredients I had you guys adapt to. And you're going to they all taste wonderful. They all taste wonderful. I love them. They're all amazing.
And they're easy to make. I mean, sincerely, the hardest job is you got to wash the vegetables.
Just wash them, cut them up, and
you got to buy them.
Job is fitting them, and you got to wash pot.
and you got to prepare, and that's not even hard. Like it's so good.
No, because everything, so you know, like I said, like I have a certain pot, so it's like it's fitting them in the pot. It's like, oh, I got to chop them a certain way to put them all in there, and then put them in that pot, you know, to cook, and then have that water not.
And the taste buds, like it complements. Like there's a clearing in your body when you realize that when your body's nutrified, when your body's getting everything, that gut cleansing is that gut balance is helping the body metabolize and digest. So when you're digesting better, your body's getting all the nutrients.
Yeah.
No, it can't be helped.
So
I can't
true.
help it. And so you're not going to have those cravings for salty, crispy things or sugary, chocolatey, dippy things. I mean, we attract to chocolate because there's there's an ingredient in it that makes us feel good. We're attracted to salt. We're attracted to chips because we want to crunch for stress. This satisfies you. You don't need it.
Look, one thing I'm going to say with chocolate is good if you have the potency of the cacao that is strong.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Not the sweet ones, because then it's mixed in with sugar and all.
Right.
But if you have the natural cacao, by all means, because it's antioxidant. So, you know, I'm big on chocolate, but that's what I do.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, like Hershey's or people eating, the bad chocolates, the ones that you're going for just because it's there.
That's all. Processed. And,
you know. And if you have a chipper or a chipper dipper who likes to do that, there's much more behind that chip dip thing.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I just made that hummus yesterday. I made oh my God, the detox hummus.
Delicious, right? I'm needing to get a big processor because I broke my big one, and so I have a little one temporarily. You know, I'm like, I miss the big ones in order to make that big hummus. You know, with the chickpeas, the tahini, and all that. I'm like,
and like Grace said, you do switch your mindset. Like, you know, I use cucumber now as a dip, as a chip. So I'll take tuna fish and put it on the cucumber and eat that like a chip instead of an actual cracker. It's just, it's fun. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely fun.
Like I could tell you one thing, and at least with, you know, I tried it with my partner, and I love to see the changes because he's Hispanic too. So he comes from that family that eats a lot of stuff, and he has weight in his family. So that's, you know, another dilemma there. But having him completely shift his whole form of eating from eat eater, because I met him eating a lot of burgers and all that stuff. So he went from that to completely, and he tells me, he goes, there are times I think about it and I'll think about it, but then I'm like, and he like lets it go. One thing he has noticed with the 10-day belly blow is that he is big. He's Mexican, so he is big with hot sauce, super hot sauce. And when he went through this process, this phase, he noticed that the hot sauce, because he used to do it so much to excessiveness, it started giving him acidic reflux. And he started getting sores in his, you know, on his gum. And he's like, I can't do this anymore. So he's completely cut it, kind of like tapered it down to a milder version. And this comes from someone that grew up eating hot sauce, you know, and excessive. What happens is the body gets so cleansed that now when you do things at an excessive rate, it's going to react.
Oh, it reacts. Oh, I've been privy to that.
You have noticed it, right?
I ate something that the other day, it might have been, I forget what it was, it might have been potato chips or something that like, it was, you could just tell it was just, my first clue should have been when I opened the bag, I could smell the processing of it.
You're starting to think, see, like that's exactly what I would tell everybody. A lot of people would not understand this.
Oh my God.
Yes, you can. It's different.
And it smelled fake, like gross.
Chemically,
yeah, chemically. Thank you. That's the word. And I still ate some, and I dipped because I was like, I just feel like eating something, and I like, you know, and I dipped, and what did I dip with? Oh, I had leftover, so I made my own version of hummus. I have a garden in the back, and I have eggplants that are coming out. Now, I'm semi-allergic to eggplants, but over the years, I've kind of taught my body to like take it. Yeah. So I can eat it now. Like I eat it usually. So I made this eggplant mix with olive oil, garlic, and lime, a whole lime, garlic.
Like a baba ganoush.
Like that, like a baba ganoush. And I just made it like on the stove, and I had been using that as a dip with pita, and it was delicious. But then I had it with these gross chips, and then I ended up like pushing it aside, and then I had it with like, well, my body did not agree. It immediately came up, like within 5 minutes. I was like,
wow.
I just threw up everything that I just ate, but it was because I think my body just rejected the fact that it was not legitimate.
I'm not having it. It's not having it.
It's not clean food. So I went back and then took out the eggplant piece, and then I had that with regular like corn flour tortilla, and I was as happy as can be. Like my body was like, yay, like we're good.
It's funny you say that because you react to, I guess, releasing it. For me, I release reaction in my tongue. Yeah. My tongue starts breaking out, and I'll end up to the point where I can't even have that. I have to completely get out of it, and that's like anytime it's like almost an acidic reaction I get in my tongue. So I'm very sensitive to a lot of foods because that are rich like that, or when we go to the like to a restaurant. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I could taste it, and a lot of times I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I just love that he's been so much into this world with me cooking, especially since the COVID, that's all we do. That now he's like, let's not even bother going. Let's make something, you know?
Right.
That's awesome.
That's fascinating because it's like, and we're very creative with our cooking. You know, we get so to the point where we cook different things, make things, we try new things, and we reinvent the wheel. You know, that's the beauty about when you get into that mindset, and of eating healthier and wanting something different and wanting something more, you know, tasteful, but yet at the same time quick and not too bombarding, you know, where you're spending too much time in the kitchen, because that I don't always have time for. And, you know, in today's society, women are more now hands-on working, whether they're working from home on a computer, but they also have children. Some of them have, you know, are in big families, and we're always been nurturing type of women, you know, so we're always taking care of somebody or some.
Yeah, our jobs are 24/7.
Exactly. So we don't turn off. And as we get older, as our bodies then hit, you know, kind of like it comes to a point.
I'll call it a wall.
Yeah, it's like a wall. Yeah, basically. And you get to the point where every phase of your life, whether you're in your 30s or you're in your 40s or you're in your 50s or 60s, you're going to find that your body's not reacting the same way you did 10 years ago. You know, and that's something I've adapted over my years that I've realized, you know, over these 24 plus years of training. I've been a yogi all my life, but as a teacher, 24 plus years that I've trained. And I could say that I've learned to see how my body's adapted to certain stages of my life. And what I've done to it to correct it and what has caused it to create havoc and how do I now. So this is basically all that work all kind of put together. And that's what this 21-day reset is all about. So it's like yoga. It's not just yoga. It's a combination of everything. A mind, body.
It's wonderful. It is wonderful. And knowing you, Kamala, knowing that, you know, what's beautiful about what you said, pardon me, but I want those who hear this in the future to know, you know, you work with individuals that strain their bodies in such a capacity, right? Athletic individuals that their job relies on athletic pushing. You know, it's not just individuals who, you know, might be, Grace is super busy. She's got this amazing opportunity that she's taken on as a career. And, you know, it's like, you know, the switch got put on and in this 21 days, it's like, hey, thrown in, you know, and I'm a sedentary, but you have sports athletic individuals. So what you just shared is like, you physically are going through your own life cycle. You've helped individuals through their own life cycle. You helped me when I went on a fun water slide and I ended up losing the curvature of my spine because I jolted my neck and I couldn't lift my arm. It was your balls that you trained me on how to release my arm. So what I'm sharing is like you're you know, you're not somebody who puts on a matching 2-piece yoga suit and, you know, Instagram or influencer for the minute. You know what I mean? Like this is legit. there's science to it. This program has mantra. This process has moments where you have, I wrote it down because I'm like, again, having a hysterectomy, the belly, the abdomen and the hip openers and arms are hard when you have your neck, you know, the neck injury. Abdomen is hard when you do have a hysterectomy and you've had injury there. It's like you can't do anything about that. And then the arm, okay, so the arms and the abs. Well, I mean, and the hips from sitting, painful. So the soup, the water, the anti-inflammation, less pain in the knee to get up to this week. The ability to have the blocks so that you can do the push-ups. Those push-ups and chaturanga have always been my weakest thing to do. I can't do it because of this neck thing. Right. And that block, I wrote it. I go, oh God, the blocks, that helps. So like there's adjustment there. You get so much. And then you have the mantra, you know, I am beautiful and I'm unique. That's for hip openers. You know, we women can produce life. And some women feel, you know, there's a new fad now that's having women who had children to show this belly roll. Well, you know, you delivered a 10-pound baby, you had an 8-pound baby you were carrying.
That's a miracle in itself.
So that's beautiful and unique. So, you know, engage in it. But this program can help nurture it and feel, you know, whole and don't let it be so. It's just amazing. It's psychology. It's spiritual. It's nurturing. It's gut health. Desiree, shush.
I know. No, I just love it.
No, it's perfect.
It's perfect. But thank you. I'm glad that you guys are seeing that because that's so exactly what I wanted. This is the program that I wanted to. It's mindset. You know, more than anything.
It's mindset. It's science. It's biology.
Exactly. There's a science to it for me to get you guys to get back into the track of even if it's 8 minutes a day that you spend for yourselves. You know, just like brushing your teeth and taking a shower, you got to take a shower, you got to brush your teeth, and you got to comb that hair before you know, that's all part of getting the day started. So it's like, okay, so part of it is also giving yourself that time to implement this. And then in the foods, and one last thing, speaking about the food, how are you guys seeing? Well, I know Desiree, you're basically right now out of your home or staying home with your family, trying to take care of them. So it's different. You're not in your own element. But Grace, how are you being with your family? How are they handling the food part of it with you and the transition that they see you in?
I guess the biggest transition would be with Sean.
Yes, because he's a big time meat eater.
He's a meat eater and he loves fast food. And it's still a concept of trying to get him to break certain habits. So case in point, this morning, I give him, he loves his, it's doing small things, right? And I told him, I was like, I'm going to cook today. I don't feel like you know, so I'm actually looking for a recipe that's going to be good for all of us to have. But I gave him English muffins. He loves those. And I gave him the ones that are like the 100-calorie ones.
Good.
I didn't tell him that they were the 100 calories. I toasted it. I put a little, like we use a certain kind of butter, so we put that butter on it, and I put it in front of him, and he looks at me and goes, "What is this? What's with the color?" Because he automatically could tell that it wasn't like the white fatty kind.
You need something.
And I said,
you something.
I said,
tricky.
yeah, I was like, they're English muffins, and he goes, "What do you mean? That doesn't look like it." And I was like, "It's the 100-calorie ones." And he goes, "Why even bother? Why even bother buying this?" And I looked at him, I said, "Do me a favor." I go, "Easy with the mouth." I go, "Why don't you try it before you knock it?" I go, "And then come to me. Otherwise, throw it away yourself and don't ask me to make you anything ever again."
And
He came back, he threw the empty plate, and I looked at him, I was like, "Did you throw them out?" And he's like, "No, I ate them." I was like, and he's like, "They were good. They were fine." I was like, "Oh, okay. So good."
Success.
I said success. So like, I was like, "I'm looking out for you guys." I was like, "I am looking out for you guys." And we specifically had this comment this morning. I was like, "I'm looking out for you guys. I'm trying to, in the next year, we are going to be eating better. We're going to be bringing in better food in here, and we're going to be eating better." And I noticed that Sean will even be like, "Hey, what are you making today?" Because he's less inclined now to eat out, and he feels the difference with the food that's clean
Yes.
versus the food that's when we eat out. You know, it's heavier when he eats out, but he feels a lot cleaner. He feels a lot, I think, healthier with the foods that I make. So yeah,
You're satisfied when you're eating that way. Your
you're
body's
satisfied.
you're
Yes.
satisfied.
Yes.
It's a psychology of it. Like you don't even realize why. That's what's beautiful about it.
Isn't
Here's
that
a guy who
beautiful, though?
likes fast food, and he's like, I don't get it, but you know, now he didn't understand why he can't sit there and explain it, but he's now like his body is seeking the healthy food.
The
Like
healthy food.
that's
He
why
doesn't
he's asking
realize
you,
it.
like, "Oh, what are you gonna make?" Because the body's like, "Yeah, that. I want more of that."
Yeah,
We want
exactly.
more of that.
Right. Totally. Like, and I'll show him stuff that I made, and he'll be like, "Oh, we'll definitely try that." You know, like he's like, "Oh, I'll try that." And even like with Ingrid's therapy balls, he'd had back surgery a couple of years ago, and he has had suffered a helicopter crash when he was in the military. He's all messed up in the back, and he gets pain. And you can tell that he's got really bad pain. And I'm like, "Why don't you use?" So I've got him now. Like I keep the foam roller out, and I keep the active therapy balls, and I've taught him how to use them. And I don't force him to do it. I keep them out where he can see them, and he gets on them. I'll watch him. Like sometimes I'll hear it's really quiet. And then I come out to where the room is, where they are, and I see him rolling and using the therapy balls, and he immediately feels better. And I'm like, I know it's a slow shift, but he's one of those where you have to use reverse psychology with him.
Yeah.
And this is live, and let's hope he never sees this. But yeah, I have to kind of leave things for him to do it on his own time. But I think it's, certainly helpful. And I hope that even if he does it when he feels like he needs it, it's good enough. I mean, that's great.
That's awesome. That's good to know. And like I said, a lot of people that know me all have their therapy balls in their homes. Even our parents, and they sit there. They're still brand new. And our dad has gone through already surgery on the shoulder,
Yeah.
and whatnot. And he always, I'll never forget. I went to see him one time, and he had an issue with his low back because of sitting for too long on his couch and on the phone, and giving the position for my dogs at the time when one of them was still alive to sit properly, so he would sit in an uncomfortable position for hours. Well, that position, because I go for maybe 2 days, but I'll observe everything, and I see how his mannerism, how he sits, what he's doing, so I automatically know. So when I saw him this time, and I said, "You realize you're sitting there for long periods of hours on your phone, watching TV or falling asleep in that position, you're just throwing your back out." So he bought himself that massager, the handgun. I said, "That's not going to do anything. You're just going to roll on top of it. You've got to realign everything. And where are your balls? Get him out." He was in pain because he locked himself. At one point, he was locked up and he couldn't move. Just grab the balls. I set him up, position him, the foam roller, the therapy balls were the main key thing, and it reset everything back again. His pain was gone. He was like, oh, I can walk again. I can move again. But you know the routine. You know the routine. I've shown you so many times. So
It's habit.
it's a habit. It's a habit form, and it's a mindset again.
And stubbornness, yes.
So I want people to know that if, in order for you to get through, it's a matter of you really holding yourself accountable day by day. And
Yeah.
like I said, 8 minutes a day is not going to kill you. Just spend that little bit of time, even if it's like, use it in the areas that you hold your attention the most. Also, write down your journal. Today, I want to, I open myself up to blah, 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 whatever, fill in the blank. And hold yourself accountable to it, and then reward yourself at the end of the night, whatever that may be, whether it's taking time for a meditation, taking time with your loved ones, taking time reading a book that you normally don't get a chance to. Take that 5 minutes as a self-reward for yourselves to incorporate this as a habit. And then you do this with everything in your life, work.
Yeah.
And I love the app because eventually as this app comes to life, you're going to have those meditations. There's going to be meditation coming on board. They're going to be short for that reason. So if you are in work mode, you know what? I need to reset my mind. Let me listen to this. You can go into that and just reset yourself. It's going to be breathing, which you already got have you tried the breathing ones? The 1, 2, 3 prana?
I tried one of them because I'm always fascinated with.
How was it?
When I was doing yoga, I was fascinated with how the science of breathing, because it makes your mind, and my mind is always on like the ever ready bunny. So that was another weakness. Conscious breathing. It's a challenge for me on a mindset scenario. So
it's everybody. It's everybody. It helps
to.
I find that it's 20 years plus everybody that I've worked, breathing is key, and not everybody breathes correctly. Everybody's in a shallow breath.
It is so true.
Belly breaths are key, not only for the heart, because not only are you taking that diaphragm and massaging the heart every time you take those deep breaths, but you bring your cortisol levels, everything right back down to normal when you go into even if you take 10 deep belly breaths,
It's so true. You can add 10 years. You can add 10 years, and this isn't just. Yeah, you can add 10 years, and that's a Western medicine.
Yeah, and even with your kids, like I remember there were times when I was raising my daughter, and there were little things that would set me off, and I'd be like, and with the breath, and then I'd be like, okay, what do we have to talk about now? Because kids can have her moments where they test you, and she has a boy. She's tested every day. So take the time to take even 5 breaths out of your time before you respond to him, just to get yourself back into a easy mindset, back into
I've been doing that at work. Yes, it's so true. That's why it's been helpful. So, and sitting on the balls at work too, having the balls there, and when you start realizing things that, I sit back. And I had a one-on-one with this week with my supervisor, and I adjusted myself. She's like, "How you doing?" I was like, "Hold on." So I took the balls, and I'm like, I want her to realize, this role is sitting, and putting the pressure on. So it's just like I'm now needing orthopedics so that I can.
But how does it feel when you sit for longer periods?
No, it's wonderful. It's really helped me. So I had to show her. I showed her with the idea of saying, look, this is.
You find yourself, your core stays active, so it doesn't allow you to drop.
It supports, because I have herniated lower disc. So I feel, this was just a really great week.
That's awesome.
It's just,
I take one of my sets and I leave it in the car, because I do the same thing when I drive for long periods of hours. I put them right there and I push into it, because I have scoliosis. So scoliosis allows, if I get tired, I start dipping and my core everything shifts. Right. So automatically I get a sciatic. So this keeps me from getting sciatic, keeps my core strong, and because I'm pressing into the balls the whole time, and it draws my shoulders back, so it keeps my spine in perfect alignment.
Well,
and I haven't had.
You had to send me an emergency set. My sister, who's a physical, she's a teacher by day, but she does physical teaching at night, spin, all that.
And she loves it.
Pilates, and she loved the ball stuff. So thank you. We're receiving them.
Awesome. Listen, girls, I really love this. I love that you guys are enjoying every minute of it. And how are you dealing with the 21 so far? Desiree, are you almost done?
I'm going to it's interrupted.
Okay.
I lean towards the detox, the eating part helped me because that was what I could control as far as.
Okay.
And so that's where I guided my time. But what I've done is I look at the 21 day for the mantra and a lot of the flows, which are helpful. So it's like mini things that I can apply before I sit, if I stand up. And that's what's helpful. But 4 pounds at this age and all this situation, combination of portions of it all and access on the app. I was riding my bicycle talking to you, and we were able to pull up the app.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to be in front of a computer, guys. This thing is with you. It's your
Everywhere.
pocket friend.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you everywhere you go. And the beauty of it is that we have community there. So you can go on the community, send something to me, and I'll read it and go back at you. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome about it. You can reach out to me.
Make new friends like Grace and whoever else is coming on board. We'll get to meet them as well. So
absolutely. Hi. Yeah. Hi ahead of time.
Hi again.
And then, so that's one of the beauties. And I love that, hearing my sister now on this new journey, because normally she would be like, in the past, she would have been like, I don't have time. I can't right now. We'll get back to it later. The fact that she's still on board with this whole transition that she's in, this is exactly what the 21 day is about, a transitioning phase. And
meeting her and seeing her from when we first met, and now you know what I'm saying? Like, wow.
Yeah. And I got to say, Grace, someone saw you the other day, one of my old friends, Anna, who hasn't seen you in a long time. This one, I still had the house. She met you back then, and she saw your video that I posted on my Facebook, the last one that we had. She says, "Oh my God," she says, "Your sister looks beautiful. Her face looks amazing. She looks great." I said, so it's obviously it's showing.
It's showing. I can feel it and I see it. It's certainly helping me build my confidence back. As you know, that's one of my biggest things is I am what I call pseudo confident. I am confident outwardly, but I am not internally. And I'm certainly shifting in that phase.
Now you are.
I am. It's a work in progress.
Yes.
But I am now feeling a lot more confident and I feel good in my body. Like I feel like I have some measure of control back. And I'm going to stay on this and just keep going and see how far I can take it and just keep working on my brain, because I think that's the biggest one, right? For all of us, it's shifting our mental state and the way we see things, the way we see ourselves, the way we attack things. And it's helping. It's helping.
Awesome. And you're designing your whole new life. So I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I love you guys for being part of this course and giving me that feedback. I can't thank you enough, especially both of you. My sister, having her, it's like a big bonus for me, a big treat. So
I love that.
Thanks. Yeah. And Desiree, I can't thank you enough. Also, this is amazing because I know you're going through a tough time, and the fact that you decided to jump in on top of your other courses you've taken, your herbals. That's awesome.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. And this is a lot of what I'm learning there is tied into this. That's why I'm sharing, like, sincerely, the nurse in me is jumping with joy because this has all of the elements. So it's really beautiful. And I look forward to watching. We're not gone yet. We're going to be continuing. So we're going to be watching.
Watching
Right?
the transitions.
Yeah.
Watching the
Desiree,
transitions and
Oh yeah.
congratulations this week, Desiree. That's a huge
Yes,
And
that's a
you-
big. When you told me that yesterday, I'm like 4 pounds. I'm like, wow, that's
I
amazing.
know I saw in
That's
my
amazing.
family, I'm like, you're not going to believe this. This girl right here just lost 4 pounds. Because I have been increasingly, and I wasn't good this week. I had to go to the doctor. It's been a hard week. And so, wow, that was just, it's huge.
That's
great.
And I know that there's going to be future transitions and shifts out there.
Yeah.
And Grace, you're glowing from here. I mean, it's just, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's not the light. It's not the.
You look awesome. Like your hair is done. You just feel, you look like you're radiating, and you're radiating differently. Not to get all Google, but that's the truth. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, I feel it. Yeah, my skin's improved dramatically this week. I've noticed the skin.
Well, I gotta say, you definitely showed an improvement because mom and dad were like, she was amazing.
They noticed it. I couldn't believe it. They noticed it.
And they're our worst critics.
I know they are. Mom, never misses words. So she was like, you look like thin in a good way. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm feeling good. It's Ingrid's
That's huge. That's a huge statement because people are thin, but they may not be healthy.
They're not healthy.
Yeah, not thin in a good way. Right. So she's like, you look thin in a good way. She's like, no belly, like you look good. And I was like, it's Ingrid's broth. I'm like, I'm not even exercising as much as I should. I'm like, it's all in the food. And my mom goes, you see, Romelio, it's the broth, and your daughter gave it to you, and you're not doing it. He's like, all right, we'll look at it. We'll look into it this week. I was like, you got to do it. I was like, it's life changing. I said, it's life changing.
It's so funny because when I called them, they were on the way to the store to go get everything.
Oh, I love
believe it.
And then,
that's huge.
Yeah, the
that's
next
huge.
day they're like, I'm so excited. I'm like, so now I've got to call back and find out where they're at.
Find out. Now I didn't know that, so I'll have to find out too.
That's huge.
Yeah, and to not hear my dad interrupt in the background was like key because he's focusing on cooking this stuff. So
I love it.
I was like, oh wow, it's a big transition. Like I said, for me, it's been. I could say we go way back, Grace, and we could say I never thought I would get them here today, listening here to me at all.
Yeah.
Because, people would be like, whatever. He knew best. Everything he said is the way it went. So, the fact that now he's open to the changes and a lot of his health, whenever he had a little bit of health scare, the good thing with our parents is that they automatically do the best to take care of themselves.
They do take care of themselves. Yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm hearing is that this shows, men too. This is not just for women.
Absolutely.
This is for men. Grace's husband doesn't realize it, but there's a transformation. Your parents, elderly, my parents here, they're going to be eating the hummus. I grilled, I barbecued cauliflower, barbecued peppers from the garden.
Yeah.
So he's a meat eater. He just had open heart surgery. It's like, well, you're going to have a grilled portobello mushroom. That's your burger. And
oh my God. And the things you can do with the portobello, oh my God, it's so delicious.
Yes.
Portobello mushroom on there with some cayenne pepper, because that's what's stimulating the metabolism. And that's from the bloat. They're eating differently too. They just don't realize it.
Yeah. It's so amazing, and I love it because I've seen a lot of our friends come over, or we cook, or Miguel will end up making something vegan, and they all are fascinated with the cooking.
As long as you don't label it a name. I just didn't tell my father this is, oh, you're eating vegan. No, you're having a if you say it's like automatically. Oh my God! But he's been eating things that he wouldn't ordinarily eat at all. This is all American cheese.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, reverse.
Just put it on the plate.
Just put it on the plate. Just tell them to
put it on the plate.
Eat it. Yeah.
Eat it. Yeah. All right, lovelies. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for listening out there. Like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon.
We'll be back soon. Bye. Bye, Desi.
Absolutely. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye, Ingrid. Thank you again.
Bye, honey.